Good morning, everybody. This is Skull and his little friend, Wormy. Let's get started. So here's our colors we're going to use. I'm going to make the skull out of a feutre pearl gray. Of course, black and white for the eyes. And then Wormy is going to be crawling out of a red hole. And Wormy is this olive green that I don't know where I got it from. But those are our colors. Let's get started. Okay, so here we go. There's my barrel bead. And I think I went like 7 across by 2 wraps high. So that gives me a good start. Now, I'm going to show you how to make this skull without a press or anything too fancy. So we're going to hand shape this. I would say about halfway into my barrel, I'm going to go ahead and put a 3rd wrap of that feutre pearl gray. You know, not super, super white. I guess you could use white. You could use ivory. You could make your skull any color you want. All right, here we go. I'm putting down, I want to get kind of a fat wrap there on that 3rd wrap because that's going to give him the fatter part of his skull. Where his brains are, where they're supposed to be. All right, that looks good. Okay, so now what I'm just going to do with this fat part, once I get enough glass on. I never think I have enough glass and then I do stuff and it's like too much glass. So let's try that out. I'm going to just go ahead and shape that half of the bead into like a donut. So you got like a donut bead on top of a barrel bead. And I kind of want to get a round skull at the top, so I'm just going to angle my mandrel down just a little bit. There you go. Kind of looks like a mushroom. Hey, look, you can make mushrooms out of skulls. All right, what I got next is I have my big giant mashers that we went through last week. And I think I still have, my set screw's a little bit small, but that's okay. I'm going to give this guy a gentle mash. I'm not going to smoosh him all the way down, but just a gentle flattening, just like that. And there you go. That's your skull. Yay. Now, of course, if you want, you can use, you know, your shaper, whatever shaper, to just kind of sculpt out something a little more if you think you need a little more shape. Of course, we're going to flash out the tool marks. I actually think I got a good shape on that very first smash. I'm happy with that. Okay, let's start with the skull. Let's start with skull. I'm going to go ahead. I've got my large ball stylus here, and I'm just going to mark where his eyes go. So one little divot there, one little divot there. Now, I'm going to give him black, dark outlines in his eyes. So I've got my black. It's just a black stringer, and I'm going to put some dots inside those little divots. Just like so. And then I'm going to take probably a smaller ball stylus, and I'm going to go into those dots and start smooshing them around. And you want to like make a little circle with your stylus, and that's going to smush the glass out. And of course the black will get all flat, but I'm just making a bigger hole and making it look like he has really deep set black dark eyes. Flash the back end there too, just to keep it warm. Ooh, that looks good there. Now let's do the other one. Heat her up, heat her up. Of course I have my water next to me because I don't want my little stylus to get, oh shoot. Okay, there you go, a mess up. I slipped. No problem though, because it's glass and it melts and we can smooth it out. All right, let's try this again. This is part of that learning, like how hot is too hot, how hot is not hot enough. And it turns out if it's not hot enough, tools are gonna slip. Okay, there you go. Dark holes in his eyes. So now, inside those dark holes, I'm gonna put his eyeball. And just a little dot of white. Oh, I'm shaking. I didn't have enough coffee this morning. Maybe I had too much coffee this morning. There we go. And I just kind of flash those whites down a bit. But I still want them kind of bulbous. All right, and now the pupils. Oh gosh, this is gonna be tough. Okay, a little black stringer, one pupil there, little black stringer, one pupil there. And I'm gonna take my dental tool and just kind of lightly smash those pupils down. There he is, he's come to life. All right, let's give him some nostrils. Now, my nostrils, I have my really fine black stringer, and I'm gonna make just an upside down heart right in the center of his face. Push down, drag, pull up. Push down, drag, pull up. And then get out your tool and smash her down a bit. Oh, I see a little spot where I missed. To me, noses are upside down hearts. So I just make an upside down heart. There you go, there's his nose. Okay, let's give him his mouthy mouth. I have my white stringer, and I'm just gonna draw a line right across the bottom, just like so. Then I'm gonna take my X-Acto knife and just draw straight lines going up and down across that white. Ooh, scary, scary. Scary, scary. And if you need to, you know, make some adjustments, go ahead and make some adjustments. Okay, there you go, guys. That is my little skull. Let's go ahead and make the worm. Make Wormy on the back. So with Wormy, it's the same idea as, ooh, you know what? I'm gonna have Wormy coming out the side. It's the same idea we did with the eyes. I'm gonna take my stylus and start a little hole, just kind of right there. Then I've got my red stringer, and I'm gonna put some glass right in that hole. There we go. And then I'm gonna take my stylus, heat that glass up really good, starting to spread out, which is good. And let's just make a nice big hole in Scully's head. Poor guy, big giant hole in his head. I guess I should do that where you can see it, huh? Okay, that looks good. Now, for Wormy, I just get my rod here of the olive green. And I don't know where I got this from, but I like it because it's thin. It's like a thinner rod. It's not the 4 to 5 to 6 millimeter. All right, we're gonna put a blob in the hole, and then Wormy is just gonna come out of the hole and down the back of his skull, just like that. And if you gotta fill in some areas, go ahead. Now I will go and sculpt Wormy a little bit. He doesn't quite, this is a fat worm, boy. And if Wormy needs a head, let's go ahead and give him a head, because the bottom of his body looks a little bit skinny. So right there on the top of his neck, I'm just gonna put a big old blob just like that. And then let's press it down a bit. Make sure it's fused to the body well. There we go. Now Wormy has a body and a head. Okay, so worms have little ridges in their back. So I'm gonna go ahead and just give Wormy, I'm just drawing it in with my X-Acto knife down the back a bit. And of course, Wormy has to see where he's going. So, 2 googly eyes on Wormy. One right there on the side of his head, and one on the other side. Oh, this is the part where I started laughing. Okay, and then he needs some pupils. So Wormy gets a little pupil on one side. Oh, Wormy's gonna be cross-eyed, dang it. Oh well, that's okay though, because it's funny. There you go, guys. There's Wormy, and there's Skull. So, let me put this in the kiln. I'll be right back. Okay, for those of you who want to get really adventurous with your skulls, this initial skull shape makes great sugar skulls. So this is one I played around with in orange, and I went a little crazy with the spirals on the front and the sides and the back and dots, and I did a little brush stroke flower right here. So let's see, I did this one in orange, and then I did a really bright one in yellow with the flowers on the top, spirals, all crazy. I used a lot of encased cane because I just like it. Here's my little blue sugar skull. So if you are into celebrating Dia de los Muertos, those are sugar skulls for you. All right, you guys, that's my other Halloweeny for this Halloween season. Have a great weekend. I'll be back next week with more videos. Bye.